They said I wasn't safe around kids, all because of one edited video. My life fell apart before I even knew what happened. The last day I felt normal was a Thursday in late spring. One of those golden afternoons when the air shifted from chilly to sweet and the laughter of students carried down the hall like good omens. I was in my 10th year at Willow Ridge Middle School, teaching English literature. It was the kind of job you take seriously, not because of the paycheck or status, but for those rare moments when a kid suddenly gets it. When their eyes light up at a metaphor. When a shy girl volunteers to read out loud for the first time. When a rowdy 8th grader admits he likes Shakespeare because he's kind of a troll. Those wins, small as they are, stack up over time. And for a while they made up for everything else. Paperwork, standardized tests, parents who treated you like a service worker, the relentless churn of new trends. My name is David Mercer, 36. Divorced, no kids, at least not my own. Grew up in this same county, went to college 2 hours away, came back thinking I'd put roots down. I coached debate, ran the school newsletter, organized the annual poetry slam. My job, for better or worse, became my identity. Students liked me, parents mostly tolerated me, and the other teachers at Willow Ridge trusted me enough to put me in charge of discipline meetings, partly because I was fair, partly because I didn't crumble under pressure. I'd survived my share of scandals. A cheating ring in a past honors class, a student fight that landed on YouTube, even a threatened lawsuit by a parent angry that I crushed his daughter's creativity by giving her a B-. I honestly thought I'd built up a callus against whatever the next storm would be. But nothing prepares you for the moment the storm is about you. It started on a Monday, so innocuous I almost missed the change in air. The bell rang at 8:10, as always. I handed out copies of The Outsiders, joked about the cover art, tried to sell reluctant readers on S.E. Hinton's tough but emotional world. During lunch, I was planning our unit on banned books, answering emails, when Ms. Richardson from math leaned in my door. "Hey, David, did you see that TikTok account, Wildridge Leaks? There's a weird clip of you explaining literary irony with the words, all cut up. It's sort of going viral. Not in a good way." I blinked, surprised. "No, what kind of clip?" She shrugged, face concerned. "I'd take a look before you go to third period." After she left, I pulled out my phone. Notifications. Texts from colleagues. One from an unknown number. The link led to a short, professionally edited video. I'm standing at the front of my classroom, gesturing animatedly about the power adults hold over children, using the phrase, "sometimes teachers control the narrative." The context, our lesson on unreliable narrators in fiction, was gone. Instead, jump cuts and out-of-context laughter spliced my voice together, so I sounded mocking, even sinister. The video had been up for 7 hours. Thousands of views. Comments ranged from confused, "Is this real?" to furious, "My kid has this creep for second period." My heart rate rocketed. I scrolled. "Someone needs to check this dude's hard drive," wrote one user. Another, "This is the guy who teaches my twins?" F. That. For a second, denial kicked in. Surely anyone who knew me, students, colleagues, the principal, would understand. But by noon, I'd received my first angry parent email. "Saw video, what are you teaching about adult power?" 2:30 p.m. meeting? "We want answers." From the main office, the principal's secretary. "Please report to Mr. Dunham's office at the end of the school day." I spent my last period on autopilot, voice dry, eyes flicking to my phone whenever I thought no one was looking. My students noticed I was off. Bryson, the class clown, usually unruly, actually stopped joking and sat up straight. I remember thinking, in a daze, even an 8th grader can tell when a ship is taking on water. After the final bell, the halls buzzed louder than usual. I could feel kids and teachers glancing at me as I walked down to the admin wing. In the front office, our usually chipper secretary, a mom whose 2 sons I'd managed through discipline panels, wouldn't meet my eyes. Mr. Dunham, our principal, looked uncomfortable behind his desk. With him were 2 assistant principals and our HR coordinator. They slid the school laptop across to me. "We've received several calls about this video, David. Do you want to explain?" I tried to breathe. "That clip is edited. The actual lesson was about unreliable narrators. That power is in controlling a story, not a person." I never said anything like what they're implying. HR made notes. Dunham's face was unreadable. "We have to take every complaint seriously," he said. "For now, You're relieved of classroom duties while we investigate. The shock hit like a fist. My keys, my school computer login, even my email account, stripped before I'd even left the office. By that evening, my name was trending locally. Friends texted, "What's going on?" with a mix of concern and caution. My ex-wife sent a clipped message, "Saw the news. Hope you're handling it. Please don't contact Lauren." Lauren, my niece, was in 7th grade at my school. It wasn't even dinner time, and I was already radioactive. The investigation started immediately. I was told to stay off school grounds and avoid contact with students, even those I'd mentored for years, even the kids who lived down the street. My phone buzzed with a constant stream of messages, parents demanding explanations, some friends wanting to support me, but first asking if the rumors might be true, and teachers privately expressing shock before drifting into silence. That Monday night, I barely slept. My apartment, usually a lived-in jumble of lesson plans and coffee mugs, felt suddenly hostile. I sat at the kitchen table, trying to remember every lesson I'd ever taught that could have been misrepresented by a bored kid with editing software and a grudge. Had I ever lost my temper? Had I ever said something that, out of context, could sound wrong? In the loneliness of 2 a.m., doubt attacks from all sides. By sunrise, the video had been remixed, slowed down, dubbed over with menacing music. On TikTok and Instagram, kids and adults were sharing it and adding snide captions. A former student DM'd, "Hey Mr. Mercer, this is crazy. What's really going on?" Another message, "You always made your class feel safe, but this is wow. I hope it's fake." Even kindness arrived tainted with suspicion. My sister called, her voice tight. "Have you talked to mom? She found out at church." I assured her I would explain to our mother, though as soon as I imagined that call, the trembling voice asking, "Are you in trouble, David?" I pushed it off into the future. Already, my world had shrunk. Managers from the local library group chat removed me for now. I was locked out of the school network. Invitations from longtime colleagues stopped arriving, replaced by cold silence or formal HR updates. My next-door neighbors, the Watsons, whose daughter had aced my class the year before, avoided me entirely. On Wednesday, the school board made an official statement. "We are investigating allegations regarding a member of the Willow Ridge staff. The safety and well-being of our students is our absolute priority." No names, but everyone knew. The phone didn't stop ringing. The only break in my day was the meeting with my union rep, Mrs. Abrams. She arrived at my apartment with a worn notepad and a steady presence formed by 3 decades of seeing teachers chewed up and sometimes spat out by rumor and fear. "David," she said gently, "do you have anything at all, even a whisper, that could explain why you? Did you anger a parent recently? Fail a student with connections?" I shook my head. It doesn't make sense. I have disagreements, debates over grades, sure, but never anything hostile. There's not a parent or colleague I'd expect this from. I don't know who'd gain from this. She scribbled down names as I remembered. We went through class rosters, recent discipline cases, even a few small parking lot confrontations. Everything seemed trivial. She instructed, "Say nothing on social media. Save every message you get. If anyone threatens or harasses, forward it to HR and to me. This is about survival now, David. No heroics. No emotional apologies. Let the process do what it can." I nodded, shivering with adrenaline sickness. The days stretched into a tightrope of waiting and self-doubt. I watched the video over and over, analyzing every moment. I wrote, then deleted, apology posts I was advised not to make. I walked late at night, replaying years of teaching, wondering where I might have made enemies. Thursday brought a new wave of outrage. Someone had posted a new edit of the video onto the parents' Facebook group, weaving in blurry photos of me from the school's page, overlaying text that quoted lines never spoken. A handful of parents posted support. "My son says Mr. Mercer is fair and caring." But these drowned in an avalanche of accusations. Is this the kind of man you want teaching your kids? If the school won't act, maybe we should. That evening, my ex-wife called. She kept it short. "I can't have Lauren around you until this is over. Please respect that." Something inside me broke, but I said I understood. It wasn't her fault. For the first time in my career, I began to question not only my job, but my memory of myself. If enough people say you're dangerous, part of you wonders, what if they're right? What if trust can be erased by editing and repetition alone? Mrs. Abrams called with an update on the investigation. The district is reviewing all available classroom footage, lesson plans, and interviewing staff. It will take time, maybe weeks. The board has hired a reputation management expert for the school, not for you. You should prepare for a hearing before the end of term. I asked quietly, do the kids know this is a lie? Her voice was kind. Some do. Some are scared. Some think it's funny. Kids circulate stories faster than truth can keep up. A few colleagues reached out privately. David, hang in there. It'll blow over. But the tone was clipped and nervous, as if they feared their support would paint them with my scandal. I tried to keep a routine, waking early, making breakfast, walking the block, reading, anything to stop thinking. But the world felt smaller each day. By the weekend, I'd received messages from students, some anonymous, some brave enough to use real names. We know it's fake, Mr. Mercer. Come back next year, please. A glimmer of hope. But when I checked my email, I found a message from an unknown address. Subject: you know what you did. Don't try to run. Everyone will know soon. Adrenaline shot through me. I forwarded it to Mrs. Abrams and HR, unsure if it mattered. That night, as rain hammered the windows and I sat alone rereading the threatening email, I realized this was no longer just about my job. It was about my name, about who I was outside a classroom, about how quickly a single, anonymous accusation could set fire to a life I'd spent years constructing. I wasn't sure if I'd ever get it back. The email, you know what you did, was the trigger. It wasn't just fear anymore. It was a cold, hard anger. If I was going to be destroyed, I wouldn't go down without a fight. Mrs. Abrams had warned me against acting impulsively, but that anonymous message felt like a direct challenge. I sat with my laptop, not to write a defense, but to look for an offense. Who would do this? And why? The edited video was technically sound, implying someone with editing skills, or at least access to better software than I had. The timing was too perfect, too calculated. It wasn't a student prank, it was a targeted strike. My mind went back to the days before the video. Were there any unusual interactions? Any strange requests? I thought about the Wildridge Leaks account. It wasn't a student, it was too professional, too targeted. Someone had to have access to school systems, or at least enough internal knowledge to make the edits so convincing. I started digging, carefully. I reviewed my own email and calendar for the weeks leading up to the video's release. I looked for any unusual contacts, any parents who had been particularly aggressive about grades or discipline. Mr. Harrison, the father of one of my most challenging students, came to mind. His son, Kevin, had been suspended twice last semester for disruptive behavior, and Harrison had made it clear he blamed me for not controlling his son. He'd even mentioned, at a PTA meeting, how his nephew was quite the tech whiz. The nephew, he'd added, worked in digital marketing. It was a long shot, a desperate leap in the dark. But I forwarded Harrison's contact information to Mrs. Abrams, asking her if she could discreetly look into any official complaints he might have made or any unusual activity connected to his family. Meanwhile, the school's investigation was agonizingly slow. They interviewed colleagues, reviewed my lesson plans, which were meticulously organized, and spoke to parents who'd complained. I was kept in the dark, living in a suspended state of anxiety, my professional life a prisoner to their process. My replacement teacher, a young, eager man named Mr. Evans, was polite but distant, clearly uncomfortable occupying my classroom. I saw him once walking in the hall with a group of students, and he looked away quickly, as if afraid of being associated with me. The personal toll mounted. My ex-wife, fearing legal repercussions for Lauren, kept me at arm's length, reinforcing the isolation. My mother, bless her heart, called daily, her voice a tremor of worry, and I found myself lying, telling her everything was fine, just a minor misunderstanding. Then, a breakthrough. Mrs. Abrams called, her voice tight with a mix of disbelief and urgency. David, I think we might have something. Kevin Harrison, his uncle is a programmer for a company that handles some of Willow Ridge's IT infrastructure. And Mr. Harrison himself filed a formal complaint about you weeks ago, before the video. A lengthy one, accusing you of everything from unfair grading to inappropriate discussions about controversial topics. It was a preemptive strike, David. A way to build a case against you. She continued. And the IT guy? He's been flagged internally for trying to access student records he shouldn't have. Apparently, There was a security breach last month that he was supposedly fixing. He had the access, the motive, through his uncle, and the technical skill. It clicked. Kevin's uncle. The tech whiz nephew. The motive, revenge for his nephew's punishments. A classic case of proxy warfare. Armed with this theory, I had to act. I couldn't wait for the school's slow-moving wheels of justice. I knew my own digital footprint better than anyone. I'd been careful, religiously logging my lessons, saving student work, even backing up my own computer meticulously. I started a private investigation of my own, focusing on the days leading up to the video's release. I requested my own school server logs through a formal channel, asking Mrs. Abrams to expedite it. I knew that if someone had accessed my files to create that video, there would be traces, digital fingerprints. While I waited for the server logs, I went back to my personal computer's activity history. I remembered Katia, how she'd once joked about my password being my birthday. I'd changed it after she left, but then I'd been so exhausted, I'd reverted to something simple. I suddenly remembered a time Katia had helped me set up my new cloud storage, insisting on linking it to my school account for easy access. She'd set the password. Panic seized me. Had she, or someone she'd given access to, ever seen my files? Then I remembered something else. On the day Katia left, she'd asked me to help her reset her router. For some reason, she'd insisted on borrowing my laptop for 20 minutes. I replayed that memory. Katia at the kitchen table, my laptop open, her brow furrowed in concentration. What if she hadn't just been resetting her router? What if she'd planted something or copied something? I pulled up my cloud storage history, and there it was, an unauthorized access event logged on my account, 2 days after Katia left, from an IP address I didn't recognize. The time matched her supposed visit to Alina's. The access was brief, just minutes, but it was enough. I forwarded this, along with my suspicions about Kevin Harrison's uncle and the server logs I was expecting, to Mrs. Abrams and my lawyer. The evidence was circumstantial, but it was a start. The school's investigation was still dragging its feet. Mr. Dunham called again, saying they were exploring all angles and awaiting external input. The principal's secretary had started leaving my mail outside my office door instead of inside. Then, a breakthrough came from an unexpected place. Amir, my radiology friend, came to my office, looking sheepish. David, look, I don't know if this is relevant, but you know that Wildridge account? I'm friends with the guy who runs it. He's a kid from the county, actually. Not a student here, but he monitors school stuff for kicks. Anyway, he bragged a while back about how some parents pay him to stir things up, get dirt on teachers they don't like. He showed me the original video file he got. It was sent to him anonymously, the same day the first edits appeared. Amir's face was grim. And the guy who sent it? It was sent from an encrypted email address, but the metadata, it came from an IP address registered to Kevin Harrison's dad. The same IP used to access your cloud storage. It was the confirmation. Kevin's uncle, the IT guy, working with Kevin's father, using the tech whiz nephew's skills to create and disseminate the lies, all while posing as an anonymous leaker. Kadia's unwitting role in providing access to my files, or perhaps even unknowingly passing along information, was a painful side note. I handed this information, along with my own digital trail, to Mrs. Abrams and my lawyer. The game had changed. This wasn't just a rumor anymore. It was a coordinated attack. The school board finally called a formal hearing. Mr. Dunham looked less uncomfortable now, more grimly determined. They had the logs, they had Mrs. Abrams's report, and they had my evidence, including the original, unedited footage Amir had managed to get from the leak's account, showing the video was deliberately manipulated. Mr. Harrison was summoned. Confronted with the IT logs, the anonymous complaint he'd filed, and the digital trail connecting his IP address to the leak's account, he crumbled. He admitted to hiring someone to edit the footage for context and to filing the complaint to ensure the school took the allegations seriously. He claimed his nephew was just a kid who liked to play with computers and didn't know the consequences. The verdict was swift. The school board issued a statement clearing my name. My classroom duties were reinstated. Kevin Harrison was suspended, and his father faced potential legal action for filing false reports and disrupting school operations. But clearing my name wasn't the end of the story. The damage was done. My reputation, though officially restored, was now a fragile thing, constantly under scrutiny. The isolation lingered. Some parents withdrew their kids from my classes. Some colleagues remained distant, their trust eroded by the months of suspicion. And the memory of how easily my life could be shattered by a few keystrokes and a fabricated narrative, that was a scar that would remain.